This is a picture of HeLa cells, the world's first immortalized human cell line. Year after year, these cells continue to divide and multiply in the lab, and they've been super important for medical research since 1951. That was the year that Henrietta Lacks went to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. It was the only hospital in the area that would treat black patients, and she had felt a knot in her womb. So they diagnosed her with cervical cancer, and while they were at it, they took tissue samples without her knowledge or permission. Cultured human cells are usually hard to keep alive and only last about 2 to 3 days. But day after day, Henrietta's tumor cells just kept dividing and surviving, and they've been used in thousands of scientific studies since. They were used to help develop the polio and HPV vaccines, and there are around 11,000 patents involving HeLa cells. They were even sent into space a year before Yuri Gagarin, the first person in space. Over 70,000 scientific articles have been published on research on HeLa, and they underpin several Nobel Prizes. But Henrietta and her family had no idea that her cells were being used for research. She died the same year she went to the hospital at the age of 31, survived by 5 children. And no one except for the doctor who propagated and named the cells, George Gay, knew that HeLa stood for Henrietta Lacks. That was until he died in 1970. No one reached out to her family about the cell line or the research involved with it until 1975, when scientists came around asking for blood samples so that they could study the family's genes. And the family received no financial compensation for the use or the taking of the cell line until at least 2023. And finally, there was a closed-door settlement with the family and one of the at least 100 pharmaceutical companies that have used and profited from HeLa cells over the last 70 years.